In this video, I will show you how to put together this Slimy Monster Treat Box, which is an SVG file from Simply Crafty SVGs. Before we get started, I want to ink some of the pieces. I already inked a couple already. So with black soot distress oxide, I did the edge of this, if you can see closer, a little bit of the edge. And also did the little red pieces. And I did most of the green, but I want to show you, for those that might not be familiar, how to do that. So we're going to go ahead and do these faces, the green pieces. So these are the rest of it in the box. So this is the box. So I like to show all pieces usually when I can. So we want to take these and we're just going to ink them a little bit on the edges. So we're going to take this black soot distress oxide, then this little finger brush. This is iCrafter, but they have other ones for that are out there now. I don't know if they'll be making these. This particular company is out of business now. So we just want to edge it, and it'll give it some dimension and things like that. So all we want to do on the big one, on the small one, we're going to go all the way around because that's going to be the top layer. So everybody has different techniques, but I'll show you what I'm doing. I just like to go from the outside in, and I can be a little messy with this because it's a Halloween. I mean, you really can't go wrong with Halloween ones because you kind of want them to be scary anyways. I just like to get the excess of the ink off the edge by kind of blotting it on the paper, so I got a little thick there. One of the reasons I like distress oxides is that it blends well, but you could really play around with any ink you have and see how you can blend it similarly. I mean, you don't have to get the expensive stuff. It's just stuff that I like to use, and I like it better than distress ink because this blends better on the edges, but you can see how it's kind of giving that effect. And you could do it around, I'm just going to do lightly around the face, not too much, just with the excess and the eyes. But it's up to what you want it to look like, which is the nice thing about paper crafts. And I am using, this is American Crafts textured cardstock that I'm using. I believe this is, ironically for the Cricut user, I believe this is called Cricut. I believe that's the color I'm using. So you can see once I layer it, I mean, this is not exactly how it's going to be layered, but it'll show up well. So the only things you want to ink on this, on the one below here, is the arms and this bottom edge, because all the rest will be hidden by the already inked area. So we're just going to kind of come in here, ink around here, and then after we do this, we're going to go ahead and piece together our little slime monster. I call them, or character, whatever you want to call them, but kind of ended up calling him my slime monster. It kind of reminds me, I mean, the inspiration really was the green ghost on Ghostbusters, but it's the inspiration loosely. I just thought it'd be fun to do something with slime. Just kind of a slime box is what came to mind. Just more fun for kids. So now let's kind of look at it layered. See how it looks. But just do a little bit more around those arms. So again, this is just to your flavor, and I went a little deep there, but see if I can blend it off. And the ink stays on it for a while, so the more pressure I put on these, the more it does. And I'm just going to go around the edge real quick. It's not going to be seen, but that'll help when I layer it. So we'll do a little bit more inking once the box put together. So now we're going to go ahead and piece together the slime monster. So we need these pieces. So I'm going to put them in their, gotta get another black piece here, missing over here. And you can see I also inked these already. So I already inked this. And I might actually just put a little bit more before I finish to match the darkness, because I did that earlier. And this piece. So to put together the little monster, you need these. So the way it's going to go, there's a little line here. I don't know if you can see it. So hopefully it's not too dark for... Right here, there's a little line right there. Right there. And that's where we're going to line this up. Like that, the mouth. So I'll just piece it together loosely before we put it together. And this will go... Oops. The way this is going to go is like this. We'll attach it here because I didn't want the white showing on the edge, so we're going to attach it like that. So we'll use that to guide it on. But before that, we have to put these on. So it's going to go like this. That. That's how it's gonna go. So let's put it upside down. Let's go by one piece, one by one piece. So let's go ahead and do the red to this black piece. So I am using Barely Art glue today. I'm going to go ahead and again use this line to line it up. Like that. You can go a little bit over the line. It's just so we know the correct placement. Let's go and place this down. Be careful not to get glue on the front. Just going a little bit. Doesn't have to be super accurate to get it in place. I got a little bit in front, but that's okay. That won't be seen. You just don't care about the eyes mostly, but it just makes it easier if I make the piece larger to piece together. So I'm lining it up on the edge here. And also at the top edge, which you can see. I'm gonna lightly place that. And then we'll just double check to make sure it's lined up. That. I've been enjoying doing a little bit more character work these days. And then we're going to, instead of just putting it on there because you don't know exactly where to put it, we're going to go ahead and, you don't want to put the white on there. We're going to put this together first. So I'm going to put these red eyes on. And there's no cheaters. Basically, you have to put it on the way it looks and then line up the openings with the openings on the white. So just line it up carefully to match it up like that. You can double check on the back to make sure that you can't see any red through the holes, or minimal at least. Now we're going to take this piece and it's going to glue like that. So these little edges are the mouth, where it's going to glue on the mouth. So I guess it does line up. I thought I didn't have it line up. Let me make a double check. No, I didn't. So it should look like this on the back. I cut this about 2 weeks ago, so it just, my memory fails me at times, like that. So the white doesn't show on the edge when you piece it together. That's a pet peeve of mine. I'm sure some people don't care, but I do. So we want to make sure you're going to go like that. This is the back of it. You can go around the eyes like that. and this area. Just don't want to, it's going to be all hidden behind there, but we can go pretty close to the edge because it's just inset just a little bit with the glue. And then we can go right here. Oops. Yeah, those are the two. Then we're going to go ahead and line this up. So we're going to line this edge up. So this is upside down. I'm going to line this up like this. You'll see a little edge there, but I want to make sure no white showing here. You know, the weirdest things drive me batty, and that's seeing the layered edges. So we got that. And then last is just to put it right here. So now we can just flip this whole thing over and add glue. So typically I know people put everything the same size so you can layer, but like I said, certain things, especially when it comes to something that's supposed to be dark, I don't like when white sticks out the side. So I'm strange, I know. Whoops, gotta get some glue up here too. So this is a pretty easy box to put together, which I intended it to be. Just a fun little trick-or-treat box to hold some candy. So I'm just going to line it up lightly, jiggle it into place a little bit. Oops. So the screen part is the same size as that black part. And the nice thing is even if you see a little bit of the black, it gives it a little bit more of a dark edge to it, which is nice. At least I think so. So to get it ready to put on the box, when the box is ready, we can go ahead and just attach it to this. So my slime guy is getting, that's originally what I thought of him when I made this. It's the slime guy box, but called slime monster. It's kind of fun though. I don't think he's a mean monster. It's a fun monster. Or monster. I always say that wrong. Scooch that on. Flip on the back just to see how far off I am. Not that far. Oops. Don't fold it back. So now all we've got to do is put together the box. So when it comes to the box, we have these 4 pieces. And I made them this size just in case somebody wanted to enlarge it a little bit. It's still a pretty big, it's not really a single treat box, it's kind of to hold a fair amount of candy, maybe in the house for treats when you're in the house. So it's decor and a candy box at the same time. So we have different cut lines. So if you look on there, it's not going to be white, obviously in yours. I used a white pen, but there's 1, 2 cuts, 3 cuts, 4. So we're going to put them together in that order. So you want to make sure you have them in that order, and you can go by shape too. But to make it easier, I put little cut lines in there. And then this is the bottom. This will be, because we're going to have 2, we're going to put this on the bottom and this just for strength, and you'll see. So let's go ahead and put this together. So make sure you fold this really well. And if you need to use a bone folder, go ahead and use a bone folder. That'll help. So we're going to go ahead, let me go ahead and put those 2 up there. We'll start with 1 and 2. And I find it's easier to start at the top. So this little tab here, glue the top one first. and then the bottom one. So you can do them, I'll do them together on the next one, but here's separate if you want to go slow. So I know it's hard to see sometimes with black, so hopefully I have enough light this time to do it. I'm going to line this up. I've done others, I usually cut it in a different color, but I think this is bright enough today. If not, you might want to brighten up your screen because it's pretty bright on my side here. I mean, bright enough. So we go right here, and then that's anchors it. And then we can go ahead and do this. And you can do this all in one step. My Barely Art glue is kind of getting empty, so I have to kind of put it on its side. I'm just going to slide that into place. And you don't want much glue showing, so you might want a little wet paper towel to the side to get the excess on your fingers. You don't want it on the front. The top will be covered with the slime panel. Have a little bit of glue on my fingertips here. Then we'll continue over here. So if you do both at once, you can just push this one in a little bit further than the other one so it doesn't hit before you intend it to be glued on. So I lined up the edge here. So essentially I'm doing the same thing. The difference is I just applied the glue all at once. Just line that up. So what you'll notice is the back of the box is flat, whereas the front has an angle to it, which will make it easier. This is always good too once you get it in place, just apply pressure, which makes it easier to add that back Mr. Slimy monster on the back. So go ahead. We'll do this one with one tab this time, just so I'm not fighting with any glue. It's really not that big of a box to do all at different times. I mean, to do it a little bit slower. So if you do like this project, I ask if you can give me a little thumbs up or like on the video, and or subscribe to our channel if you have not already done so. And if you hit that little bell to the right of subscribe, you'll be notified when we have new videos, new content. I'm calling it content these days. It's just either their videos. Okay, and then we're going to get this one angled. So just lining it up, making sure that the tab fold lines up with the edge, that edge. And then we'll close it up on my remainder. You can get that flat by doing that to get pressure on it. So each piece you just have to angle it a little bit. And we have this last one, so we want to fold it in. Just line that up. So don't rush this because you don't want to pull it apart. In that last piece. If you have trouble reaching in for any reason, you could get a utensil. Oops. Like this is my wooden chopstick that I always pull out. If you want to get some pressure against it at a weird angle. So, because I can't really get this flat this part because of the angle in the front. But I can reach underneath it. But you can always use something like this instead of your hands once you have it in place to get it set in place. So now what I want to do to make the box stronger is I'm going to glue these on the bottom. And I'm going to glue this on the bottom of it to hide the tabs, but this makes this structure a little bit sturdier. Push that in so I can see the edge here. So I do that, especially if we're going to put candy in it. We want a little strength. We'll go ahead and do that. Flip those in. I'm going to flip that upside down and kind of push it in on the side to make sure that they line up. I can see a little glue on the inside. You don't want any gaps or anything, so I'm just pushing it in on the side and the back. Make sure it lines up. And the edges are lining up inside. You can see that. Like that. So these will be to put on the slime panel here. So I'm going to make sure it's nice and set here before I move on. Let's go ahead and add this bottom panel. So once you get it set, you can go ahead and get it in place and then flip it over and get a little pressure inside there. So as you can see, it's a nicely sized project for a little bit of some goodies. I know we all like to, or most families like to eat just a little bit of what they get in. And I'm really trying to get towards the edges because I don't want it sticking up or anything. Remember, the front will be the angle side and the back is the flat side. So there's the basic box. We're going to go ahead and put this slime panel on. But before that, we're going to go ahead and ink it a little bit. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to take my little scratch piece of paper I have here. And I'm going to take my pumice stone. And I'm going to do a little bit of inking. So I'm going to do the same thing, but the difference is it's together. So I'm only going to see, I just want a little bit of this on the bottom edges. Just go around the corners like this. Just give it a kind of a fun look to it on the sides. Remember, the slime panels are just going to go down like about right here. It's going to come down below there. So we want to do this before we get the panels on. Well, the back's really not necessary. Just forgot, because that will be the character, the slimy monster character will be on the back. So to your liking, if what kind of like rough look you want on the front. I just don't want it too heavy, so I'm just kind of roughing it up now. So I'm just going to show on the sides and the back. So a little bit, I think that's good. That's the nice thing again about Halloween is that you don't have nothing has to be perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and add this. Actually, I think I'm going to add this a little. Now it's going to be easier to put this on. I know. Why did I have a plan before I went in? I don't know. Either way, you could do either one in either order, but we're going to fold these. And the way it's going to go, it's going to glue onto this little edge here. Right there. And then we'll let the sides be, before we do the sides, we'll make sure that everything's good on the top. So we're going to do it on we'll attach it to the back first. We want it flush with the back and then flush with the front, like that. And we could do all four at once, but let's just get it anchored on the back first, just to make it easier to do the other three sides. Gives it a different finished look. The nice thing is we can reach in underneath and apply pressure. So we're going to go ahead and just slide it over that. Get it centered, you can feel it. But once you get it in place, we'll just go ahead and lightly, oops, just apply pressure down there to get this piece in place. Then we'll rotate it up and do the other three. You could do them all at once. This is just a way to do it without getting overwhelmed all at once. Oops. Didn't glue really well on this side. So you can see it, like that. Let's get the other three. We're almost done. Okay, now you can just fold it down. Get it first in place going down so these corners go around the edge of the box. And then you can go ahead and apply pressure going around with your fingers. So maybe make sure you get in the corners, come around. So this is a fairly simple project, I believe. I had more fun. Sometimes I have fun with designing certain boxes. For some reason, I had fun with this simple box. It was fun making the character, which took longer than the box itself. That happens. Sometimes I can't make my decision, and that's what happens. So fold that down. Same thing here, and then we'll fold the other two things down. So you only have to glue on this little square section or rectangular section up here. You don't have to glue all the way at the bottom, and you can curl them if you wanted, curve them, or I didn't think it really added too much to it, so I didn't do that. And I decided not to put like any kind of words or anything, but you could always put um, Happy Halloween down here, and you're in a font that you like, or if there's another cut file that you have that has a cute Happy Halloween. And then this last one, part of the part without this is the back, which is flat, and the front obviously angled. So we want to go ahead and just glue this on like that. So we're just going to glue that on. So if you look from this side, it's just like that. So what I do on this one, just because I don't want to get too high here, we're going to add a little glue at the top, but first we're going to add some glue at the bottom here. So we can add it on the bottom up to the angle part. And the rest of it I'm going to put up here because then I know where to put it. And I don't put it like super high because I don't want to see the glue. Just in case you move it wrong. You don't want that just getting on your regular design. So we want to line it up. So I'm going to line it up at the bottom there. Sides. Just double checking on the back here. Wiggling it into place. Then once I know it's in the right place, I'm just going to turn it over and reach in. So remember there's a lip here, so be careful about that lip. You know, spend the time to get it nice and set in place. So that's going to finish the box. Let's go ahead and move that out of the way so I can show you once I feel like it's attached well. So now we have a little candy box for Halloween to add. A little fun. I think the kiddos might like it. So I'm sure people could add some real goo to it. Thought about finding something that I had that was like maybe glow in the dark, because I have glow in the dark Nuvo drops. I don't know if you've ever seen those, but I thought that might be fun. Might have to do those on the eyes or something. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and I thank you so much for watching.